Good morning, everyone. It's Monday, March 4th, 2024. Welcome to the Neutral Zone. Aloha. I am here with Scott R. Bushnell, my co-host with the most.
Hey, Jason.
You know, I'm not hearing me, but I don't need to hear me.
Are you hearing me?
As long as they're hearing me. And you guys. Well, you know, today is March 4th, 2024. That has a lot of meaning. It's the day before food stamp benefits come through. And so there are a lot of hungry people. So if any of you out there need food, I want you to call this number, 808-874-5900. And when you do, leave a message and leave your phone number or an email address, and we will get back to you. All right? Special. Scott, I think that today is very special because it's March 4th. To me, I watch this roller coaster go on in people's lives in Maui every month.
Yeah.
And now every month has become, I want to say, the financing on Maui, the housing costs.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that landlords are trying to see how they can raise their rents because so much money is potentially coming in, getting paid through the state to handle victims of the Lahaina fire.
And they're just rolling it through because they're raising property taxes, which allows for, I have to raise the rent. My property taxes have gone up by 20 or 12%.
Yeah.
So obviously, whether it's going to go up next year, here we are. And then they'll add their little buffer in there because property taxes went up, well, then the cost of running the complexes goes up. We're in a vicious cycle right now.
Well, you're already 2 steps ahead of them. You're talking about having complexes that are going up. I'm talking about the complexes that aren't up.
Oh, yeah.
And that the jig has been up for 25 years. Every time they say, we need housing in the council. Well, now Gabe Johnson and the rest of the council are taking on this monumental task, and it is an insurmountable task, even if they say, okay, approved.
Yeah.
And they have...
Then who builds it?
That's what I mean. Where are you going to find that? Where are
the construction people going to live?
Money. Yeah. What's money? We're off the gold standard. This is, let's play dough. Let's move our world. In 17 trillion. What did they say? $90 trillion is passing hands in generational change now to the millennials. 90 trillion, the largest. What does that all mean when there is no basis?
Well, there's a simple story. To buy a real nice suit today, 100 years ago, real nice suit, $20 gold piece. You could buy the best suit you could buy. Today, that same $20 gold piece will buy you that same Armani suit. That is where we've gotten to.
That's funny to say.
Yeah.
How much is a $20 gold piece now?
$3,500. There we go. We went off the gold standard. President Nixon, Henry Kissinger, the Trilateral Commission, and now here we are. They're printing money faster than the machines can print. And we're paying for it. Back in the 90s, when I owned a home and had a lot of kids at home, a $35,000 job could you could buy a home. Right now, I and my partner looked at maybe buying, if that was a dream. The minimum income is $165,000 to qualify for a loan for a home here.
And the monthly payments are astronomical. And so you don't see clever buyers taking out large monthly payments.
No.
The people that are buying have other assets or cash, and
the people that are buying are people that are retiring who have been saving for this entire moment.
Other people at ridiculous. That's all this cycle. You know, how long have we been trying to stop this? As long as I've been here.
As long as
but it's a tough deal because everything's imported. We could change that, but that takes progressive thinking. If I get too much into progressive thinking, I'll start to talk.
There you go. There you're going to go a little north of the border.
I say words that trigger me into realizing how foolish we run things like we have our head firmly up our butt.
Well,
you said the word bureaucrat to me.
Oh, there we go, Jason.
And I said, well, you know why Scott's good when he comes on here with me? Because he brings up the realities of the mechanics of it all. Why things.
We've been digging through this Olowalu, and it just slams home. We have bureaucrats, or not people in administration across this country. We have given power to the elected officials have given power to so many agencies who control so many things without any accountability to the people. And here we are. Right now, I looked this up and I started reading through it. We have the Department of Health Solid Waste. We have the Hazardous Evacuation Waste. We have the Department of Health Minimization. We have 9 different agencies, non-elected people, who are following policies by the federal government, the EPA, to do this Olowalu project. Yeah. So they're following their guidelines, and we're all screaming, but they don't have to listen. They're just administrators. The only ones that have to listen are the politicians. So it's a top-down mess we're in. I'm.
How do we stop it?
How do we stop? It's going to have to take it's going to have to take a groundswell of us out at Olowalu and get some national press.
Olowalu. Olo.
I'm not hearing myself today, Jason.
Well, that's because I was playing with the buttons here. Is that better?
Can I? No, now I can hear myself. Thank you. No, that's perfect.
You're the first one there.
Okay.
See how they go.
There we go. Now I can hear myself.
I think it's left, right. I just can't see Scott.
That's okay. I'm right here, Jason. Jason, I'm right here. I know you can't see Scott.
No. I can see you, but like if it says anything above the logo there,
okay,
I can't see anything. But now I'm seeing it looks like they took something off. So I see. Tell me what you see behind you.
Oh, great.
I have to make you turn. Is there like a lighter section above and below? Like they took letters off or they covered over something?
No, it looks normal to me.
Well, I have been seeing things in a very blurry way. I look at clouds. It looks like there's a woman sitting on the beach with a kid on her left side. I'm seeing all kinds of things because of my blurry vision.
Yeah, you're just one generation ahead of me. They said that stuff was going to affect you in your old age when you took it in the 60s and the 60s. You're an older man. Those 70s are starting to come back, that psychedelic moment.
That's really interesting, though. When they say, if you fight what is, you're upset. But when you just relax into it, this must be what it's like. I remember LSD, but I remember heightened colors, you're right, it's just a psychedelic. All out there, 70s psychedelic. Send an email.
There you go.
You know where you send the email? teamaloha@icloud.com.
Perfect.
Is that good? And, we here are the core, and I'm so thankful to say this. We're the core of voices in public access television. That means you could be in television or radio, in this case, radio. And we have to all step up because Scott said something that we are talk show people. Like, we can't say curse words, but we are a bunch of bull. unless we have people listening, and then take it to the next step called doing something.
You've got to do. You've got to. If you don't stand for something, you stand for nothing.
If you don't stand up against what's happening, that's why I have all kinds of sound things to go in the next number of shows, from scientists, from Department of Health, and from someone that used to be in the environmental department here at the county. Hot, exciting things here.
Yeah.
But this is all that already has been shown, and no one's looking. But you told me why, because it's a bunch of bureaucrats. If you're a mayor and you say, hey, my whole life I've been part of the judicial system, and I take when this one agency says it's been looked at in the right way, and here I am after a career, and I'm going to now say, stand up to the EPA, and these new and exciting things may be, but they're not. These guys know about that, of course. They've looked at it. But that's where the breakdown is.
There's the breakdown. We have people in charge.
So the mayor can't. It's not that he can't, but then he loses his funding.
Yeah.
He loses his support.
He's punching
of
the air.
Everybody. He loses every support. So it's like, what do you do? Now, I don't know who chose Olowalu, and I'm going to have more than one more show from people that are going to be giving the cultural directions about this from the Hawaiian perspective.
Because it's a temporary.
Martin Cruz was here last week.
Right.
She was a terrific guest. Really, I thought, put it in perspective. When you look at Pu'uhonua, Pu'uhonua means a place of refuge.
Right.
I remember that name when one of our candidates, I don't know what they call him now, Bumpy Kanahele, whatever his new name is. He was called the Pu'uhonua, and there people were more, but he was in the Big Island. But I never really realized there's a place in Oahu. There's a place. There's a place here.
Yeah.
So way back when the whalers were here, that was probably when King Kamehameha was around. I don't know if they were around, right? For all these times, and so the refuge was in Olowalu for the whole. So yes, Lahaina was the capital, but it was also that whole town, everything that's gone. But Olowalu was the most sacred thing, or one of them, on the west side. Yeah. For them to take the dirt, the ground originally to build out Kaanapali when they did, to bring in dirt. I don't know what are the details of that, but
I thought they put that above Hanakauai, but okay.
Well, maybe both.
Yeah.
Or where they took it from.
They took it from. Yeah.
So, but now to choose this place, the Hawaiians are going to say, I'm sure, hey, when the world wakes up and realizes it really is our place, we're going to get more status. I hope that status is something that it's not going to be an easy transition if this becomes the state of Hawaii, unless all the property owners and everything.
I think it's the state of the country, Jason. I think it's absolutely the state of the country. We have bureaucrats making life and death decisions for small business owners. We have life and death decisions being made. Simple decisions. If you had a restaurant, let's say, and a bureaucrat or a appointed person from the health department comes in who may not be the top shelf employee and makes a decision, and all of a sudden your business is shut down for 2 weeks for some like crack inside the refrigerator, let's say, the cooling box, that has to be patched in a certain way. Then there's
by the way, you listeners, crack, he means a break
in the plastic. Yes, break in the plastic, not the fun stuff. No, not
fun stuff.
Well, we've gone from LSD to crack. This show's really going downhill.
We're in trouble. Okay.
So yeah, we've got all these bureaucrats or people in administration making decisions that are affecting people's lives, and the frustration that I've heard on your shows, the frustration I'm hearing from the public. They're focusing in on our mayor, they're focusing in on our local politicians, but the reality is they are following the guidelines. When we invited Josh Green over here, and Josh Green invited and enacted the Disaster Act, which is absolutely correct. And at that point, we gave up control. We gave control to the federal government. It said, FEMA, come in, help us, save us. And they washed their hands of it, and this agency now, who are not elected officials, have control. We gave up control again to FEMA. We gave it up to the EPA and said, handle it for us. This is too big a project for us. We can't handle it on our own. And now all of a sudden we're going like, what the heck are they doing?
Well, when you say we can't handle it on our own, financially I could get that, but what else?
Yeah,
they don't think we have the engineering capacity in the world.
No, they don't think that here in Hawaii we can take care of ourselves.
Well, we use the same machines. They're probably using our machines.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's a decision that someone can give up. It's like martial law.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like total control. So the mayor sits there. Is that why he walks around at the meetings like in the early times? Because he's listening to someone else? Because they're in charge.
They're in charge. After the Paradise Fire in California, they gave up their everything. I have friends that live here on the island, live with us up on Lahaina Family Farms for a while, that lost their home in Paradise and live up country now. And the stories they told about how when FEMA came in and they lost access to everything, by the time it was all said, their home that they had there that they had lived in for 32 years is still not rebuilt. And that was 10 years ago. So, again, in Talent, Oregon, Phoenix, Oregon, they had a fire like 6-7 years ago. And it wiped out a big chunk of the town. FEMA came in, and now they still, because the administrators are still moving dirt around and changing things, they still haven't rebuilt. Slowly.
What about the idea? I mean, I just don't want to forget it. It seems like every show I want to mention it, because if you're in the mayor's office, in fact, if you're the mayor, containerization on site or very close of all this ash is such a cheaper way and better way. What is going on? Why aren't you looking at that? Not only that, you can take it somewhere for $400 a cubic yard and to get rid of all of it, and you didn't even look at these things.
It's in charge. The EPA.
Shame on you.
The EPA.
No, but
we gave it up.
What does that mean? That means we can't stop the trucks from rolling to Olowalu from Lahaina?
Not without a big on the ground stopping
Council
physically.
Says no more. We rescind the idea of Olowalu.
And
what
then
do they say?
They say if we do that, all the money and support's gone. So they're tied.
We are fortunate. We are very fortunate.
Yeah.
Next week, Gabe Johnson, if he's not in Lanai, is our guest. Gabe Johnson, our councilman, who, I want to say one of two people that didn't vote for Olowalu. I know the people that recognize the sacredness of that. Appreciate that Gabe Johnson stood up.
Mm-hmm.
And
he did.
But I know that all the other people that voted, with no exceptions, love Olowalu and love the people and looking to do what they think is best.
Right.
But like you say, if their hands are clasped,
then
they have to say, what do we do?
Right. I can honestly say, knowing the people of this island as long as I have, that everyone would have just gathered, and we would have gone lot from lot individually with groups of people, and the island would have, if the mainland was gone or wasn't there, we would have handled it. We would have handled it the best possible way. And you came up with the best possible way, and that's brilliant.
What?
The on-site.
Well, but as brilliant as he likes to tell me I am, you see, he knows how to butter me up. He's trying to take this chair.
No.
But he's right. But I get it because I've been around a long time. When we talk about an environment, I don't want to go off on tangents. This is old news. Like, why is the EPA And the Army Corps of Engineers not understanding basics like containerization.
They're not. There's no person there, Jason. It's an entity. The EPA has spent trillions of, who God knows how much they've spent. They created these action plans to follow, like Katrina, all the hurricanes, all of that. They have an action plan. It's in place. They've tried it. They've had scientists and all that make their opinions, whether they're good, whether they're bad, whether they talked about an island event like ours or not, who knows. But they have a checklist, and they go down it. And they brought it to council and said, this is the best actionable plan we have with the time on the ground.
Why didn't they add in things that were brought to them? And I say that
they don't. You don't bring it to them. You have to bring it back a step. You got to bring it back to the EPA, because those are the bureaucrats that are designing the action plan.
Well, so if a private entity or entities or us, I'm bringing that up for you guys to hear this, because we've been here for this idea a long time.
Oh, yeah.
This is the right time at Maui Arts and Music Association and Mama and Papa. This is the time when all the people that want to get involved realize there are ways to do these things that take money. And if that money is reinvested in doing the right things, and right now we have the right thing at the right time, if we raise the money, can we get the county or these agencies to sell us the ash cheap? How ridiculous. And it's like, they have the money. So if they contained it and some private company said, okay, we'll buy it, we'll lease the land, we'll this is so doable, and that no one's bringing it up.
No, and I did my due diligence.
That's an EPA possibility.
It is.
To bring it up.
What happens is, and I looked at that actual option. I looked that up. If I were an independent here on island, had, let's say, 10 dump trucks and whatever, I would have to get my dump trucks and my backhoe registered with the EPA, which is a very long process to get your tools EPA certified. Jason.
I just think if you guys out there are listening, and I hope there's millions of you all around the world for sure, but I'm standing on the soapbox again. I'm sorry, that's ridiculous, Scott.
It is. Jason, we are so entangled in middle management. You can't. If
I want to stop them from bringing the ash to Olowalu, number one, I want to stop them from continuing to spend money, whose ever money it is.
It's ours.
They're polluting our island, the whole island. You go from where it is and go to Central Maui landfill every time a worker goes home on their trucks, and everyone says, well, the numbers are small. Hey, you came from somewhere else. You came to our beautiful, pristine island, and you're going to help destroy our economy, kill the golden goose for tourism, kill the people. Is this a planned obsolescence of humanity? Are you trying to get rid of it? Is this a genocide? No, I haven't heard that been talked about, but I have to say, it's like these things that happen.
Yeah.
I don't know where do we stop.
We didn't have elected officials closing our schools. We didn't have elected officials telling us to get vaccinated. We had people in agencies that weren't elected put policies into place because they were actionable plans that they wanted to use. This is just a long string of events, and with the fire, it hit home on Maui.
So the what do you do part is the part that I come to, because you make sense, and in many ways, we've been talking about this as long as we all talk.
Yeah.
These are not new issues.
Not new issues.
But the idea of a bureaucracy that doesn't have hands-on and doesn't have experience,
right,
that makes decisions and goes through a chain, and by the time you're here, these guys have no power.
They have, the only power they have is the purse strings.
No, but I mean, the people that we see at these meetings are not the ones that are administrators.
No.
They are not. And they are not the...
No, they're the mouthpiece.
They're
They're mouthpieces of the of the action plans that they've designed over decades.
In one of these tapes, today we may not be playing this. What time? I can't see.
11:25.
Okay,
Maui
so we
time.
have to, without being able to see, I see it says 35.
It's bedtime for you to do a station identification.
KAKU 88.5
There you go.
FM, the voice of Maui. You know, it is so great here. You know, we have a great staff here. Tony Midnight on the board. He has his own show. He's a great guy, and he's I think he holds this place together.
Yeah.
But he's here in a bureaucracy too. We're all in this bureaucracy thing.
You know.
Is that what the world is coming to? You have 8 minutes. People said to me, people have 8 seconds. There'll only be 30 seconds on your spot. They don't watch your shows. They don't even stay there past the beginning. You have to grab them in the first 8 seconds or you have lost them. And then when you get them, you only have them for 30 seconds average.
Oh, yeah. It's gotten short.
So what are we doing? Why don't we just go home and, pack it up? Because people are... The reason I'm still talking to Olowalu is because it personally insults me.
Yeah.
I've been here 35, 36, whatever it is now. Mm-hmm. 36 years. Right. And in my 36 years, I've been talking the same story. You've been talking the same story.
Yeah.
A lot of people. We've all been talking this story, but we don't seem to move things because this bureaucracy...
Mm-hmm.
Is there? But now, when I get all raged up, big deal. What power do we have? It's just we have little power to change this system, do we? Some people say, well, that's why we want it to be the country of Hawaii, because we need to put a ho'oponopono. All of us in all these systems are dealing with a lot of people that are used to a lot of benefits that they have no idea that it's on that tab that we are the automatic, we don't have to be accountable tab.
Exactly.
And when accountability meets bureaucracy, it spells mud. It spells decisions like we see being made.
Across the country.
And Olowalu, because I don't want to drop it. Mayor, stop the trucks. If you're thinking to bring it to Central Maui, think again. If you've already made that decision, create a new road that goes through the mountains there. Or contain it on site. And then move it there in containers to Central Maui. Otherwise, I don't really see what you're accomplishing in spending all that money.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean,
did I say anything? If I was an EPA person, what did I add? That you box it up, and you don't just box it up and take it. You take it all the way.
They are going to take it all the way when they're done.
But these are contained area. It could all be handled.
Right.
Why did they not do that from the beginning? Why did they not do that in Olowalu?
That's not part of the EPA's action plan.
Because we have to get our people back on their land. Mr. Mayor, wake up. Aren't you? You're hearing. I don't have to tell you. You're a judge. When you take a look, you know better than me. I'm some schlump on the street. You've been dealing with this a long time. You're going to get the people back on their land? Which people? The dead people? You're going to send them back in now? They're going to live in this town that isn't done? How come we're doing this backwards? I don't really know. Because of private property and private ownership?
No, because of the EPA's action plan.
And the money
we agreed to that.
Money runs out at this time. And we have to do it this. So all of us are over a barrel. We have a system being run by people that are bureaucrats.
Administrators who make more money when they have more money to go waste. It's a vicious cycle. We have administrators.
So what do we do? I mean, I'm back to that thing of, okay, I get it. I should be in panic. My world is upside down. But now that I'm in panic and my world is upside down, what can I do to actually effectively make this difference? Or in my mind, as the world fully realizes we're a poisoned community,
I believe we're not getting
here.
informed very well. I've listened to arguments on both sides, and it's the EPA thinks they're doing absolutely the perfect thing, and their lies are debate. They think they are absolutely doing the least harm. That is that is part of the EPA's motto, their heart and soul. So, in their heart and soul, they feel they are doing it to the best of their ability, and that's their action plan. And they realize that, there's always going to be contention. And I always thought they should just pull a barge up in Lahaina and just start shoveling it up.
No, but isn't that what containerization is?
Well,
I say that really.
Yeah,
whether you pull a barge,
right,
or whether you store it on 17 acres of land and stick it, it's the same thing. You contain the problem,
right,
and isolate it. Why move it? I'm still just beyond myself. Who's going back to their land?
What are we making? 7 acres of waste out at the landfill a day?
Well, when I hear these things, it's the reason this hair is all gray.
Okay, Jason. That's a big reach. You've been gray as long as I've known you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm really, that is so ridiculous, Scott.
Yeah. It is. So, we create a lot of waste.
So we talk about these things, and maybe that's what talk shows and social media is all about, having fun with these problems. But you know what? There are going to be some deaths going on here. Not only that, we're destroying the economy. People think, oh, you're so far-fetched. Having lived here now 36 years, having lived double that in my life, and you being... You're a youngster, but you're close to me. Your experience...
I'm not far behind.
I'm not telling them the detailed story about this guy, but this guy is super qualified, super capable. He sits here modestly, but I almost lost him to a possible situation. But then the bureaucratic thing of it all...
It
stood in the way, and you out there are the losers. First of all, I'm happy because we're going to do things here. Scott R. Bushnell, sometime he's going to tell me that story. Is that a whole show we're going to tell?
No, it's just
But Scott has been, you've stimulated a lot of conversation because you know why. When I'm loud and yelling at the mayor, you say, wait a minute, someone tied his hands. Here's what's up. Because you've had a lot of experience.
Exactly.
That experience you're missing because this bureaucracy is stopping from Scott moving at other things. We're going to do things here, and I'm hoping that you will accept this job. It starts with no pay. But I'll tell you something that's really, really important.
None of my jobs have ever paid.
Well, this is, we said it earlier and in different, when you do it from your heart, your pay is you're doing the right thing. But what comes from that is abundance. So when all of you see that this whole thing is about, from these ashes, talk about Phoenix, Oregon, a phoenix will rise.
They will.
This Lahaina and all that's happening and all this craziness and what we can't stop maybe I'm being paranoid and maybe no one will stop coming here, and they'll all come here.
They're slowing down.
And so then that Lahaina rebuild in 5 to 7 years, when Lahaina is ready and the world is ready to really come back, because they know that everything's been tested. Who's going to come to a toxic place here? Who's coming? Who's coming back to Maui? If you're around the world and you have all these places to go, am I betraying Maui? Maui's got to get it together and be self-sustained and use our resources differently. And tell the people that have the money from somewhere else that's great. But even with their money, to get out of this mess, we need to go back on some kind of thing that locally shows our pride. Whether it's a change of country, I'm not qualified.
No, I'm
but
just...
I do know that if you have a trade credit that's worth home, what is it? Family, food, and shelter?
Yeah.
What do they say? What do you need in your life?
Yeah.
What if something can help you so that these huge rents and all these things get into the pay and into a local banking system? So living here, the big problem is that things are out of control, and I have no opinions. You notice I just go on
Jason
these rants.
has no opinions whatsoever.
Things are out of control,
so Jason,
Scott.
They're everywhere, Jason.
How do we stop this one thing?
We have to get back to accountability in all aspects. Back in 1991 was the year we tipped. There's this beautiful tip scale here. This is the amount of people paying for the government, people that are working in the private sector. This is the amount of people working in the public sector.
Is that when it became there are not enough people working to support this?
Exactly.
Movement.
And we're not having enough babies to create a future generation to support this middle management in government, which we have built.
Are we the virus that's going to start eating ourselves?
Soylent Green, I don't think we're there yet. So.
No, but I mean, when we look at this, don't we realize we created more people, and now to keep going, we are just going to have to gobble up everything.
The countries that are actually doing the best are the ones with the higher birth rates.
Okay.
Straight up. Countries that are producing at least 1.2 kids per couple, those countries' economic base has been stable. China right now is paying a wicked cost for their one child because they only had male babies for about 25 years. They're in a world of hurt. They are the biggest, and I've got a lady that I work with over at Parents and Children that I want to bring in here, Heather, and I've talked to her about it. This triangle of China buying people in Mexico and trading them fentanyl, and fentanyl crossing the border into the United States for cash. This triangle that's going on right now with the open border. And I know that I told you about my daughter. I adopted kids, and some of them, my daughter Janelle has other siblings from the bio kids in the one of them passed away the other day to an overdose on fentanyl at 16. And that the fentanyl that's crossing the border right now, and I know we're getting way out of track, but the fentanyl crossing the border, and we're seeing this more and more, and I'm reading about it more and more, that most deaths from fentanyl are in the lowest tier of people in America. It's like they're systematically throwing in a bad pill every once in a while, and then offing more and more people because they'll get one. They'll be taken. In Oregon, it's legal, so it really messes it up. But so you take a fentanyl, you're feeling good. You and I both have aches and pains. That's given.
And I've never tried that, but I guess fentanyl. What did they throw out that someone went to fentanyl suddenly?
I used it before my cervical reconstruction. It's a real powerful.
Has it always been around and available?
Oh yeah, the doctors have been using.
But it hasn't been the drug of choice from.
It's coming across the border. It's light. It's easy. The Chinese are making it by the.
So is that like an oxycodone kind of thing?
Times 20. It's powerful.
Why would someone have that available on the street?
Because it's a tender. It's a tender they're using to buy people out of Mexico. They're buying people out of Mexico, shipping them.
But people are using it for recreational purposes.
Oh, big time, yeah.
Rather than medicinal purposes.
Yes.
But it turns them into zombies.
Well, and they're dying. They're dying. The overdose rate and death from fentanyl is incredible. And kids, since they haven't been, having a beer at night or a cocktail in the afternoon, their systems are so clean that when they do get one of these fentanyls that their family member or someone told them, oh, this is going to make you feel good, bam, it's too much. Wow. There is no control. All the pills look alike. It's what is that game or that horrible game on the Deer Hunter? Russian roulette.
Right.
Russian roulette with fentanyl. They're trying to kill off the younger generation, the poor. They're trying to kill off the poor with this. I swear that.
Well, you know what? They're not only trying, they're succeeding.
They're succeeding, Jason.
But we still are, like, look at this. The whole thing is so crazy because all these countries that had 1.2, you all right?
Yeah, 1.1 or 1.1, 1.2 children.
Okay, but if every American hears that and says, oh, yeah, let's have more children now, then we're in the middle of this confused system. And where we are, how do we balance or do anything to have more children to be the solution? All these things that we talk about is making the soup in the world, knowing what to do, more and more difficult and making it impossible.
I think it's simple. I think we just need to evaluate everything. Back during the let's go back. Let's get back to Maui here. Back in the 90s, I served on a joint legislative committee for the restoration of ash removal after Mount St. Helens because it was upsetting the salmon fisheries. We had the salmon fishermen, we had the Native Americans, and we had a piece of the tourist board on the Columbia River because a lot of those estuaries were clogged with ash.
He said get back to Maui. He was talking about a subject that relates to Maui.
It does.
But you were aware. You were in Oregon.
Yeah, I was in Oregon.
So you were there as Mount St. Helens and all that was going on.
All this was going on, and then I was old enough to be part of an action committee to help the salmon industry recover and all that.
Right.
And I saw then how powerful the EPA was when they took control. And of course they did if a mountain got blown up. And they have this ash mitigation. And I watched the EPA and I watched them tell people that you can't live on your home anymore. And they, and the people are like, oh, we'll just shovel it off, get some dump trucks, and we'll just go move it. And the EPA got involved with all of that with people that lived along a lot of the rivers that were sand choked or ash choked. And there wasn't accountability. It was bureaucrats. And that was, Jason, 28 years ago, 29 years ago, during this, after Mount St. Helens and everything went on, that we watched the EPA become this powerful, godlike agency.
Is that area back?
It is, yeah. But you know what they did is they treated some rivers, didn't touch them. They did some where they did restoration and put logs back in the water, did a little bit of excavating so that the salmon fry could make their escape, things like that. And then they reevaluated everything they did and created policy after that, yeah.
What did they do with the ash?
Did with the ash? They mixed it with concrete. They just did everything in the world with it. It's an aggregate. It's you can mix it to pave roads.
The medical community is it? I mean,
it's scary stuff. It's scary.
So here
it's
we
glass.
are.
It's glass. It's glass. If you were in Oregon, I was shoveling the roof of our family business. It had 2 feet of ash on it. I was a teenager, and I didn't realize the glass fragments that are in volcanic ash. It's like it has that small glass splinters. That's why after the Iceland event a few years ago, they shut down all air traffic, and all around the UK, Italy, everywhere, and across Europe, the air traffic was shut down for 6 months. So the EPA has turned into a savior it's a demon and a savior. It depends on if they're looking at the big picture, and they're not looking at the little guy. Oh my gosh, no.
And FEMA, what's their role? They're just the money?
FEMA is the personal interface between between that agent. FEMA is the personal humanitarian outreach, but they've also got a lot of new powers that they didn't previously had. FEMA took on under the Patriot Act, which just drove me nuts. FEMA took on almost a shadow government role of being able to take control of all these type of events without mayors, without politicians, without anybody. They just step in. We're seeing that right now on West Maui. They're stepping in and saying, we've got this, we're in control. Mayor Bisson, thank you for your input. We'd love your support. And council, here we are. This is what we need to do. Sign on it or sign off it, you know. It's we're the beast.
Or we're pulling the plug.
Yeah.
Isn't that what they basically
They would
say?
do that. Jason, they have the power of the purse. They can tell you whether you can live on your property or not. They can tell you whether you can
what are we going to do about this existing? See, I'm going back. You guys probably wonder, why is this guy still on that? But the reason I'm on that is because I think that private people,
take care
Jeff
of
Bezos, you're private. In other words, people with money could come in as private people, help get this thing containerized.
They have to answer to the EPA. They're the new deity.
So right now, even if we have the answer, we have to have the EPA say, yes, you can have the ash.
Yes. Do you talk to anybody that lost a home? I have 3 guys that I meet with on a regular basis that lost homes. They said, we have enough family on island. We could have gone into the property. We could have gotten it personally cleaned up, and we would have taken care of it. They wouldn't let us. Was it the mayor? No. Who was it? Well, there's this agent that's in charge of the EPA and the cleanup, and they don't even have any interface with Wailuku or the legislature or the governor. They're answering to these bureaucrats. We have.
Are we going to leave these people with no hope?
Oh no, there's hope.
What's the hope?
What's the hope? That it somehow will make it through this, and hopefully, anytime you put, if you threw a pop can out of the door or it blew out of your car and you pulled over and you picked it up, that's a quick solution. This solution might be this. Poop's going to be sitting there at Olowalu, and then they're going to have to clean the poop up from there.
Do you remember, it wasn't that many months ago, that it felt like last minute to me. I heard, hey, be there at 8 a.m. in Olowalu. I think you're the one that brought that whole thing to my attention.
I did bring it to your attention.
See why? Keep them around. This is so funny.
But Jason's a bulldog. He's a bulldog. He latched. I sent him a bunch of stuff off the.
Well, it's because it's
important. It's important to me. It's important to all of us.
It is critical. So that's what really is. It bothers me some ways that I have such a deep commitment to this. It's been a lifetime commitment. Mm-hmm. How could I walk away from it now in the most important time that I could ever serve? By being a media thing like this.
Right. And it's important. There's so many questions we don't get answered. We need...
I can't bring bureaucrats on here because they're just going to be bureaucrating.
But it would be nice to have the people that created these action plans to be able to go,
Can you tell me what time it is? Because I don't want to think...
11:48.
So I have time. Okay, good.
Okay.
See, I'm just looking here. See, I think it says 8. When I look up here, I keep seeing 18.
That's okay, Jason. Go into the light, Jason. You'll be okay, Jason. Go into the light. There he goes again.
See, it looks like 7.
He's looking up, and there he's going. Go into the light, Jason.
They have to move the clock down. It says 7.5 minutes here.
All right.
Well, that's good because we started a little late, so we're good.
Okay.
So 8 minutes, we're good. The best part about this is you can hear it again. You can see it on TV Saturday morning at 7 a.m. Mm-hmm. Saturday morning. If you're watching Democracy Now! At 6 a.m., we're right after Democracy Now! On Saturday.
There you go, yeah.
And you can go up on the internet. You can go to akaku.org. You know that all the stations are there. You can go to, and the radio station and programs are there. And you can also, it's amazing. We have Maui Stream, which is an app on your phone, so you can find these shows. But you have to share them with people. But only this, the thing that really bothers me is that I start to feel I don't want to say useless. I think if I have no power, when all the people said stand on the road to block them with the trucks, isn't that what we're kind of coming down to a place?
What
where,
I would like.
How do you say stop doing this?
I would like to hear the people that actually created the plan. The plan was created not here on island.
Okay.
Olowalu just happened to be a location.
Yeah.
They took their master plan for a disaster and said, how do we make it fit Maui for the best? I would like to hear that thinking process with all those people in the EPA that sat down, the Corps of Engineers, all those people that created this plan within their budget and within their means, and said, okay, how did you come to the decision of Olowalu? How did you come to the decision of putting down those barrier blankets that are 20 friggin' layers thick that are going under this waste until it can be processed? I would like those questions answered. How did they come up with this plan?
And then, see, but now...
So that we can have a better idea.
Don't we want to stop them from bringing more?
Well, right now, I think we're at the time where we just need to understand how they came. Maybe they have some really good science that they're not sharing. Why in the hell not?
Well, again, where is the forum? There is no forum.
Yeah.
There is no forum. That's why that People's Council of Maui came into existence.
Exactly.
They felt there was no forum for people to speak, but there's still no place in this government for this to all be worked out.
They don't have to be accountable to anybody.
So what do we do? What do we do? How do you stop them from doing this?
We need to at least make them accountable to answer questions.
We need an attorney on this show, maybe a series. What about RFK? He's running.
Oh my!
Well,
he's taken on the EPA countless times and won.
Would you do me a favor, because I know that it might be easier for you because
we've had a conversation.
So I think it's see if he wants to be on here.
I've asked him. He's running a powerful campaign. He was over here. He did a beautiful.
No, I know.
He saw Lahaina. He saw what was going on. He's very concerned.
The next time you speak to him, tell him that we speak to millions of people around the world.
Just like he does.
This is the platform for him to reach people all around the world.
There you go.
Because this is Maui. We're an example of what can be. We're the most isolated place in the world. Why are we doing this? If you want to be president, if you want to be my president, solve this one. Stop this. Please. And you're welcome, Scott.
Yeah.
I say that with respect because this is not an easy chore.
No.
But either as being president of the United States, we've got.
Are you announcing you're going to run? Is this what this is all about today? I knew you had an agenda, Jason.
You know, I've already learned the hard way that I am not meant to be in any seats like that.
You're the sword carrier.
No, I'm the person that was standing there just like the next guy and not happy with something or think about something, and now someone asks a request to do something about it, and everybody moves back 3 steps. That is really the most important message of the day, maybe of the year. Be involved means stop just standing there and saying, yeah, you're right.
Right. Just explain to you what the hell is going on.
We got to do something about this.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to deliver a copy of this show to you, but you don't need to watch me. You know what to do. It's called I'm the Mayor. Stop the trucks. Or
answer all the questions.
All kinds of answers.
We have all these questions.
Well, I think you're welcome here. There's always a seat here. Even if we have a guest, we'll make another chair for you. And I say that I sound like I'm being very flippant, and I am. But, I don't have to consult you. You know what's right. I really just don't understand. This may be the time that you make history. You'll either be the mayor that saves this island, that stood up, or you'll be the one that doesn't get a second term. And if you do, you'll really, really have...
hopefully we'll have...
I am just so upset by this thing. This, to me, is... I really just can't give this issue up. It's so ridiculous.
I just want answers. I every time I dig into this deeper, I find that, the EPA has... But I want somebody who understands the EPA action plans, that maybe was part of writing them, that they can explain how they come to these decisions.
I think we got a minute.
It's all you, Jason. Jason wants to be your next Lord and Savior.
No, he doesn't. I don't want to do it. I want you to be your next Lord and Savior.
There you go.
Someone has to stop this or we're going to lose. Maui, I don't really understand why the issue is not being heard. But I'm not ready to give it up yet.
No, don't give it up.
So stay tuned next week. Isn't that stupid to say? Stay tuned next week, and we'll tell you on how we're doing on our quest to save our island from being destroyed. Isn't that a crazy thing to say?
Peace out, Jason.
Is that right? I have 30 seconds.
All right.
So please go watch this show again, and, if you don't like it, you could become a sponsor or a donor. That would do it.
Let's hear from you about the EPA questions you'd like answered.
Oh,
how they came up with the design, how they came up with the site, how they're going to process.
How wow. Let's powwow next time. Thank you, Scott, for being a great guest.
Thank you, Jason.
Blessings to you.
Blessings.
And to you guys. Aloha.